Lotus feet in Feng Shui, history, symbolism, and misconceptions. The practice of foot binding in ancient China resulted in what became known as lotus feet. This centuries-old custom, intended to enhance a woman's beauty and marriageability, involved the painful breaking and binding of young girls' feet to achieve an impossibly small, deformed shape. While this tradition is now condemned as harmful, the image of the lotus foot holds symbolic value within the context of Feng Shui, a traditional Chinese philosophy that seeks to balance energies within a space. History of lotus feet. Foot binding has an extensive and complex history in China, with its origins likely dating back to the 10th or 11th century during the Tang Dynasty. The exact motivations behind the practice are unclear, but it's believed to have started as a dance form among court entertainers before spreading to the upper classes. Bound feet came to represent femininity, status, and erotic appeal. Smaller feet were considered more desirable, with the ideal golden lotus measuring a mere 3 inches in length. The process of foot binding was excruciating and involved a young girl, typically between the ages of 4 and 7, having her toes, except the big toe, forcibly broken and folded under the sole of her foot. The foot was then tightly bound with long strips of fabric to force the arch to break and create the desired curved shape. This process continued for years, often resulting in infection, immobility, and lifelong pain. The effects were irreversible. During the 19th century, reform movements began to push for an end to the practice, and it was officially outlawed in 1912. However, foot binding continued in some rural areas well into the 20th century. Lotus feet symbolism in Feng Shui. The lotus flower. In Chinese culture, the lotus flower is an esteemed symbol of beauty, purity, and resilience, as it emerges from muddy waters to bloom with perfection. Lotus feet, with their small, delicate shape, were intended to resemble the lotus flower. Feminine yin energy. Yin energy is associated with femininity, receptivity, and softness. While not an intended consequence of foot binding, the restricted mobility it imposed upon women reinforced traditional feminine traits as understood at the time, leading to an association with yin energy in a Feng Shui context. The Bagua map. The Bagua map is a key tool in Feng Shui, used to divide a space into 9 areas that correspond to different aspects of life. One of these areas is the Kun area, representing partnerships, relationships, and love. This area is associated with yin energy, and some symbolic representations of lotus feet might be used here to potentially attract a partner or enhance an existing relationship. Important considerations and misconceptions. Cultural sensitivity. Foot binding is a deeply painful and traumatic part of Chinese history. Any depiction or reference to lotus feet should be handled with the utmost sensitivity and avoid romanticizing the damaging practice. Modern Feng Shui. Contemporary Feng Shui practices have largely moved away from literal representations of lotus feet. Modern practitioners often focus less on physical objects and more on creating balance and harmony through the intentional arrangement of space and the flow of energy, qi. If you're interested in learning more about Feng Shui philosophy and practices, be sure to subscribe to our channel for expert tips and guidance.